Alright, what is up, YouTube boxing family? It is K-Rod here. I'm back with another good video for you guys today. Um, let's talk about Mr. Erickson Lubin and Sebastian Fundora set to fight each other in the near spring. I wanted to talk about that, and I think it's very important to talk about this video. And I think it's a very interesting matchup to see what you know this fight will do. But I think as far as where things are going, as far as the political compass in the
30
154,
seconds.
oh shit, yeah, in the 154 um pound division. I think it's a very good matchup stylistically. But I think this is going to be the fight where it's going to make or break Erickson Lubin, or it's going to make or break Sebastian Fundora. I don't think Fundora is capable to survive at 154. I think 154 is not like the weight class he should even be campaigning at, because Fundora, he is a very tall kid, but like something tells me like he's built like a pencil, and he's not as physically built to be that type of fighter to actually survive against like brutality style fighters. And I think Lubin's going to be that guy to give Fundora a little bit of trouble. And I think if he can handle Fundora's punches, which I think he can, I don't think Fundora has like all this pop that a lot of people says he does. He just basically smothers his punches, and he doesn't really set up with the jab. He doesn't do anything spectacular to make himself a bigger threat in the division, in which I think he can be a threat in the division. But the problem is just that what can we see out of Sebastian Fundora that's going to make anybody say that oh wow, this 6'7" towering inferno is gonna dominate boxing and nobody can stop him, blah blah blah. I don't think that's the case though. Fundora has never fought anybody like Lubin. I think southpaws, especially from Lubin's school of teaching, or his school of learning, he's definitely more seasoned, he's more veteran level. And I think Sebastian, he's been fighting a lot of B level, C plus level opposition. And I mean, Lubin, his level of opponents are like way higher. He beat former world champion Jason Rosario in a devastating knockout, and I think that's good for him to do that. And I think that really showed how much level of competition Lubin has upgraded to, and what makes him a very good fighter, especially well-rounded late game and mid game. It's just like the early game, in which like how Lubin starts out, and then if he's not able to capitalize, he usually tries to go for a knockout, and then he might end up getting tagged, where his chin is a little bit suspect. But at the end of the day, Lubin gets the job done. He doesn't really be losing to fighters that he shouldn't be losing to. So he does a good spectacular job managing his strategy for him to win the fight. But let's take a look at the last six fights of Sebastian Fundora. He fought Sergio Garcia, that Spaniard weirdo. Jorge Cota, the Mexican dude that got his ass knocked out by Jermel Charlo. Habib Ahmed, don't know him. Nathaniel Gallimore, and Daniel Lewis and Jamonte Clark. The only notable victories I could say that is good is that Jorge Cota, that's a damn good fighter. Sergio Garcia, I never thought so high of him. He's not that good of a fighter, in my honest opinion. He's been fighting a bunch of no names in his own home country of Spain. and I don't think so highly of Spaniard fighters, just simply because a good load of them are just absolute trash. The only good fighters that really show out to me is Sandor Martin and Kiko Martinez. And that's about it. I mean, until then, they have to earn my respect for them, and I can definitely ride heavy for some of them, but until then, that's just not going to be something that I ride heavy for. But you know, Sergio, he's a decent, B minus level fighter, I will say, and it was a good win for Fundora, but Fundora looked really bad in that fight. So that's a good little victory, notable ish. But the more notable victory is knocking out Nathaniel Gallimore and knocking out Jorge Cota. Because Nathaniel Gallimore, he's never been stopped other than one time by Sebastian Fundora. So, I mean, what really shows to me is that Fundora, he's a really, really good fighter. He has the tools to show to you what makes him, the toughest fighter out of the own division itself. But the problem is this that how do you scale against fighters that can actually punch? And I think Lubin, he's gonna show to him why there's levels, to this game. See now, I personally believe that Lubin, he has a lot of advantages over Fundora. The only problem that I have is just, the chin. I don't know if his chin is gonna hold up against Fundora late game. I mean, it's not like he can't take a punch. He can take a punch, but if it's against heavy-handed punchers like Charlo, it might do him really bad. I don't know, but I think as far as where everything else goes, Lubin, he's done what he had to do. He's defeated really notable names. I think like the more he keeps winning, makes him a much more dangerous opponent in the near future. And I think when you look at his last six fights, Jason Rosario, Terrell Gachet, Nathaniel Gallimore, Zakaria Atto, Ishe Smith, Silverio Ortiz. Ishe Smith, not that good of a fighter. He has fought for world titles, I know that, and he ain't that good. But actually, no, he actually won. Yeah, he actually won the IBF. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so he was a former world champion. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, my bad to Ishe. But yeah, former world champion. He won it back in 2013 against Cornelius Bunridge, and then he lost it to Carlos Molina. That was a Mexican dude that fought him, and yeah, ever since then he's kind of been on like a win loss, somewhat 500 ratio. His last fight was against Lubin, so Lubin retired him, and yeah, that's very interesting. But at least he had a decent career. But best of luck to whatever he's doing in the in today's time. But yeah, Ishe Smith, very good fighter. Nathaniel Gallimore, very interesting, victory. Terrell Gachet and Jason Rosario are the two biggest names out of this entire resume. And I'm not gonna say resumes equals who's the better fighter, but when you look at the amount of style he's being tested with, um, Lubin, he is just getting better and better. And I think it's really good that he's staying active. Well, I mean, he, obviously, his very first fight was back in June. So, knowing that you're going to be back in the ring in, I don't even like to, say this, but it's like that's almost like 3 months under a year. So, I mean, if you're coming back in February or March, I mean, you're basically giving up like 8 months plus worth of, worth of, ring time of being out the ring. But I mean, I guess if you're just staying active, and I mean, Fundora, he's not an easy opponent, so I guess having like a long extended camp, well, obviously don't, don't overtrain, have like the standard 8 week camp or whatever, and then you'll be ready. So I think it's good that Lubin's team, they're preparing for Fundora, and Fundora, he is a very good notable opponent. Um, if he can get a win over Fundora, I think Lubin, he's definitely back on top. Obviously he already was back on top, but uh, I think what the problem with this matchup is just how does Lubin scale against an extremely taller fighter, and I think that's going to be a very interesting matchup because I think what we see out of this is just that there's gonna be some heavy ass blows. It may not seem like Fundora, he's built like a 154 pounder, but I mean when you take a look at this guy, he can hit. Fundora does have power, and I think it's just that based off of his build, as a super duper tall fighter, it just doesn't look like he's built to fight that type of fighter like Lubin, who's a naturally bigger 154 pounder. So when we take a look at size, like I mean, I think what the stronger fighter is just gonna be, you know, I don't even know, man. It's probably gonna have to be Lubin. I think Lubin's going to give Fundora the work, and I think it's gonna be a very difficult ass fight. I don't see Fundora making this fight easier. I think he's going to resort back to his normal old tactics, and he's not going to be able to do the things that he thinks he's going to do on the inside. Um, I think Fundora, he has great height and reach advantage, technicality, but the problem is that if he does not use his height and reach against Lubin, it's game over. Lubin, he is a killer on the inside. He just needs to be careful when he's coming in the inside and leaving his chin exposed. I think he needs to duck his chin under and make it more less susceptible in a fight. But then again, there's just those times where Lubin, when he gets hit, it's just like his body language just shows to you, certain signals, and he doesn't have that much of a good poker face to make himself less susceptible. When we talk about who can handle more punishment in the punch resistance, department. So I think this fight does go the full distance, but I think someone's gonna get stopped, and I'm gonna have to go with Erickson Lubin by the stoppage in the 12th round or 10th round, however many maximum rounds it's gonna go. But no, let me know what you guys think, and let me know what you guys think about this fight. Do you think this is a good fight? This is for a title eliminator, by the way. So I believe the winner of this becomes mandatory to the winner of Castano and Jermel Charlo. So either way, I mean 154. It's hyper stacked. Obviously Xander Sayas, he's in this division, so Xander, he can easily climb up fast. But I don't see Xander on the world title stage until a couple years from now. So I'm definitely keeping my eye out for him and helping him out, and then helping these two out. But I definitely like Lubin for this victory. But if Fundora, if he wins, bro, you give you give me, or you earn absolutely like a lot of respect for me. So much respect to Fundora and his family. Hopefully Gabriella, she can fight Zarina McCoy. Come on now, Gabriella and Zarina. Let's get it going. I'll be promoting that still, but it's good to see Sebastian fighting Lubin. Obviously, the only blemish on Sebastian's resume would be Jamonte Clark, which he gave Fundora a lot of issues. So, if there's some blueprints to show that Fundora, he does not scale well against pure boxers, but if he's actually in there with like a puncher that knows how to box, like i.e. a boxer puncher like Lubin, It's definitely going to be a problem. But let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys later in the next video. This is Kieran Rodriguez, Krod7435. I will see y'all later. Thank you. Bye.